in that question, these are some symptoms given in that question, right, which is related with the question is the hypothyroidism leads to which one of the above mentioned. So now the question is, what is the hypothyroidism? Actually, thyroid gland, it is related with the thyroid gland. What is thyroid gland? Largest endocrine gland, right? Largest endocrine gland. Second, secretes three hormones, T3, that is triiodothyronine, T4 tetraiodothyronine, right, and the third one is the calcitonin, right, which regulate the blood calcium level, right. So how it regulates? It decreases the blood calcium level and deposited that calcium over the bones and the kidney, right. So these three types of hormones is secreted by the thyroid gland, and that T4 is mainly known as the thyroxine, right. If its secretion is deficient, actually that thyroxine helps in the regulation of the metabolism. It helps to maintain the BMR, that is basal metabolic rate, right. It helps is responsible for the energy production. Clear? It is responsible for the heat generation. It is responsible for the division, even division in the memory cells. Clear? That's why the memory loss is also there in hypothyroidism cases, right. So there are so many things, menstrual cycle disrupts. So if the thyroxine level, T3, T4 and TSH secretion is deficient, that condition is known as the hypothyroidism, right. That condition is known as the hypothyroidism. In case of child, creatinism, which is also known as the childhood hypothyroidism, right. It is also known as the childhood hypothyroidism. When we talk about the adults, in case of adults, it is called the adulthood hypothyroidism or myxedema, right. It is called the adulthood hypothyroidism or the myxedema. Clear? Or which is also known as the girl's disease. If it is high, then what will happen? Hyperthyroidism, right. Hyperthyroidism, if it is called the Graves' disease in case of adults, right. It is called the Graves' disease in case of the adults. Clear? Which is also known as the exophthalmic goiter, clear, which is also known as the exophthalmic goiter, clear. So due to that, that's why the thyroid gland is very important for our body to maintain the metabolism. That's why in case of hypothyroidism, our cells activities get reduced. So everything is the patient is slow, sluggish and lethargic, right? The patient is slow, sluggish and lethargic, and due to the deficiency of thyroxine hormone, energy deficient also, right? Energy is not sufficient in amount, so it also affects the mammary cells, because thyroxine is also responsible for the mammary, clear. So now what is the condition which is related with the hypothyroidism? Mental retardation, exactly, it is related with the hypothyroidism, right? Mental retardation is related with low intelligent quotient, exactly. Abnormal skin is very much sensitive in case of hypothyroidism. Moon-like face, no, that moon-like face is seen in the Cushing syndrome, right? Deaf mutism, exactly, it is seen. Irregular menstrual cycles seen. Clenched fist, no. Flag sign here, no, right? So all these symptoms are related with the hypothyroidism. Clenched fist is seen in the hyperthyroidism, and that flag sign here, both are seen in case of the hyperthyroidism, clear. So the answer is mental retardation. Question, that is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, no. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yes, exactly. Answer is D, right? Now come to the next question. Which are the functions of the thyroid gland? Okay. Regulation of BMR, exactly. Supports the erythropoiesis, right? Metabolism of the carbohydrate, proteins and fat, exactly. Water electrolyte balancing, exactly. Calcium, the blood regulates the blood calcium level. So all of the above. So answer is D, right? We already discussed it. PTH, that PTH is the parath hormone, right? That PTH is parath hormone. PTH is the parath hormone, right? That is the hormone which is secreted by the parathyroid gland, right? Which is also known as the Colles hormone. Which is also known as the Colles hormone, clear? So what? It is hypercalcemic hormone. Why it is called hypercalcemic hormone? Actually, it acts against the calcitonin hormone, right? It acts against the calcitonin hormone. Its function is to increase the blood calcium level. That's why it is called the hypercalcemic hormone, because it increases the blood calcium level, right? And that is antagonistic to calcitonin. It is not agonistic or antagonistic, right? So all these options are cancelled. It is antagonistic to calcitonin, because calcitonin decreases the blood calcium level and parath hormone increases the blood calcium level. So answer is A. These are the conditions: gluconeogenesis, that is the formation of new molecule of the glucose, right, from non-carbohydrate substances; lipolysis, that is the breakdown of the lipids; proteolysis, breakdown of protein; maintaining kidney and CVS, that is functions of the kidney and the cardiovascular system; reabsorption of sodium, excretion of, okay. So select the functions performed by the hormones released by the zona fasciculata. Zona fasciculata, that is the adrenal cortex, right? Adrenal cortex secretes three in adrenal cortex there are three regions, right? Zona reticular, zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata and zona reticularis, right? And they secretes the three groups of the hormones. Zona glomerulosa secretes the mineralocorticoids, zona fasciculata secretes the glucocorticoids, and zona reticularis secretes the sex corticoids, right? So these zona fasciculata secretes the glucocorticoids, right? And glucocorticoids like the, for example, cortisol, right, and corticosterone. Clear? Cortisol and the corticosterone. And it regulates the carbohydrate metabolism, right? It helps in the gluconeogenesis, right? So what will happen here? First, gluconeogenesis, it helps in the gluconeogenesis, right? It helps in the lipolysis also, proteolysis, exactly. It helps in the proteolysis, maintaining the kidney and the CVS function. Reabsorption of sodium, no, that is the function of the aldosterone, right, which is secreted by the zona glomerulosa. Excretion, that is the also function of the aldosterone. Growth of the facial hairs, that is the reticularis, zona reticularis. Acts on the renal tubules, that is the zona glomerulosa, right? So all these options are cancelled, so the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the answer is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer is D. Clear? C, adrenal cortex, which is the part of the adrenal gland. Actually, adrenal gland is divided into two parts, right? The cortex and the medulla, and adrenal cortex is very important than the adrenal medulla, right? Cortex is outermost region, medulla is the innermost, right? That adrenal cortex secretes, they have three zones, three regions with three group of hormones, right? And that's why adrenal cortex is very important for us. First is zona glomerulosa, second is zona fasciculata, and the third one is the zona reticularis, right? Zona glomerulosa secretes the mineralocorticoids, fasciculata secretes the glucocorticoids, zona reticularis secretes the gonadocorticoids, right? Mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoids and the gonadocorticoids. These mineralocorticoids are specifically aldosterone, which is also known as the salt retaining hormone, glucocorticoid secretes the cortisol and corticosterone, and they secretes the sex corticoids like sex corticoids like the DHE, right? So these zones are these three zones which is related with the secretion of the adrenal cortex, right? Now come to the next. Select the incorrect statement. Select the incorrect statement. Cortisol produces anti-inflammatory reactions, right or wrong? Right. Catecholamine, that is adrenaline and noradrenaline, right? They perform stimulatory actions like the piloerection and sweating, exactly. The glucagon is a steroidal hormone. No, it is incorrect. So the answer is C. Clear? Glucagon, actually it's a peptide hormone, right? Glucagon is secreted by alpha cells of pancreas, right? Alpha cells of pancreas. It also helps in the conversion of the glycogen into the glucose, right? That is the glycogenolysis, right? It also helps in the lipolysis, right? So that's why that hormone, actually that hormone is not steroidal hormone. Come to the next. Select the incorrect option or the incorrect statements, right? Ovary produces two group of the peptide hormones called the estrogen and progesterone. Correct. Androgen have the, no, it is not correct, right? It's not correct. It is, they are the steroidal hormones, they are not the peptide hormones, right? They are not the peptide hormones, they are the steroidal hormones. So it is, that statement is incorrect. Androgen have the catabolic effects on the protein and carbohydrate metabolism. No, wrong. Progesterone acts on the mammary gland and stimulates the formation of alveoli and milk secretion. Correct. So the incorrect statement is 1 and 2. So the answer is A. Ovary secretes the estrogen and progesterone, but both of these are the steroidal hormone, right? They are not the peptide hormones. Clear? And androgen have the effects on the protein and carbohydrate metabolism. Androgen is related with the sex hormones, right? So they don't have the catabolic effects on the protein and the carbohydrate metabolism. Now come to the next one. Match the column. ANF, that is atrial natriuretic factor, right? ANF, that is atrial natriuretic factor. Atrial natriuretic factor, it is secreted by the it is secreted by the myocardium of the heart, right side of the myocardium of the heart, and its function is ANF, that is atrial natriuretic factor, right? Atrial natriuretic factor, that is actually secreted by the right atrial myocardium, right? That's why it is called the atrial natriuretic. Why it is called the natrum word is used for what? The sodium, split that word. Natrum word is used for the sodium, right? Uretic, that is related with the urine, right? So what does it mean? Actually, that ANF is secreted in case of the high blood pressure, right? When the BP is high, then ANF is secreted by the heart itself, right? And what will happen? Actually, it inhibits the absorption. It inhibits the absorption of sodium and water, right, to reduce the blood pressure, clear? That's why it is antagonistic to the aldosterone and ADH, right? So how, and it also it affects the blood vessels also, so it also helps in the vasodilation, right? It also helps in the vasodilation. It also acts as a vasodilator, clear, to reduce the blood pressure. So now ANF, that is the vasodilation, and any other option is related with the ANF? No. Secretin hormone is secreted by the pancreas, right, and it stimulates the non-enzymatic part of the pancreas, right? It stimulates the non-enzymatic part of the pancreas, that is the bicarbonates and others. So, and it also acts on addition of the water in pancreatic juice, that is, so the answer is B6. Kidney secretes the erythropoietin. 85% erythropoietin hormone is secreted by the kidney and 15% by the liver, which helps in the erythropoiesis, that is formation of RBC. So C is there. GIP, that is gastrin inhibitory peptide. It inhibits the motility of the gastric secretion and motility, that is D1, right? And what that is gastrin. Gastrin helps in the secretion of the HCl, that is E, right? So according to the given options and the answers, actually all these are not related with these functions, right? So the answer is, wait, something is wrong. E2, one second, A3 in that in that is cancelled in 3. B6, that is A or also cancel, B and D. C4 given in both. D1 is here and D, okay, so D is cancelled. Answer is Bombay, right? Now come to the next. Match the column, that is peptide and polypeptide, right? Peptide and polypeptide, in these columns which hormones belongs to that category? That is the epinephrine, hypothalamic hormones, exactly. So they are the peptide and the polypeptide. A3. Steroidal, that is the testosterone is steroidal. Come to that question 16, that is match the column. These are the tendencies of the hormones, right, and these are the name of the hormones which belongs to that category, right? So when we come to the first, that is peptide and polypeptide, in those, which hormones are the peptide and the polypeptide? Epinephrine, no. Thyroid, no. hypothalamic hormone belongs to that category. After that, insulin and FSH is also the peptide and the polypeptide hormone, right? Glucagon is the peptide and polypeptide hormone. So exactly, right? Then IP3 inositol triphosphate, 9 testosterone, no estradiol, no, right? So A is 3, 4, 5. Steroidal hormones, when we talk about the steroidal hormones, so steroidal hormones are the testosterone, estradiol, right? Instead of epinephrine, yeah, all these two hormones are the steroidal hormone. Second messenger is the IP3, that is inositol triphosphate is second messenger. Iodotheronins, that is related with the D, and amino acid derivative is the epinephrine, right? So A345, no, 345, no, 345, yes, इसमें, so the answer is the C, clear? A345, B, 7 and 8, C, 6, D, 2 and E1, exactly, the answer is C, right? So you have to memorize even the tendencies of the hormones, right? So I am giving in that question all these things, right? So you have to learn it as it is. Hormones released from the placenta. Estrogen is released from the placenta. Progesterone is released from the placenta. HCG, HPL, relaxin, FSH nahi, no, LH no, oxytocin no, right? So the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is 6 is which one? Right, so 6 is that is FSH, which is also not secreted by the placenta, so that is also cancelled. So 17th answer is C, right? FSH is secreted by the anterior pituitary, LH is secreted by the anterior pituitary, oxytocin is synthesized by the hypothalamus as secreted by the posterior pituitary, that is the neurohypophysis. And these hormones at the time of pregnancy, they are secreted by the placenta. Otherwise, estrogen and progesterone both are secreted by the ovary also, right? But HCG, HPL and relaxin, they are always present only at the time of the pregnancy, right? They are secreted only in the pregnancy. Now come to the next. This is the NCERT diagram which is given in NCERT. Page number 332, right? It is given at page number 332. Right, that is the diagrammatic representation of the pituitary gland and its relationship with the hypothalamus, right? That one is the first one is the hypothalamus, right? That second is the hypothalamic neurons, right? That third is the portal circulation. That fourth one is the posterior pituitary. And the fifth one is the anterior pituitary. right? So now 2 is hypothalamic neurons, exactly. 4 is anterior pituitary, no, so that is wrong. Third is portal circulation, correct. Fourth one is the anterior pituitary, wrong. Fifth is anterior pituitary, correct, and 1 is the hypothalamus, that option is correct. 3 is the neurosecretory cells and 5 is the pars intermedia, no. So the answer is the C, right? You can see the pituitary gland is present at the base of the hypothalamus, right? And that hypothalamus is known as the master of the master gland, that is, it secretes the hormones which regulates the functions of the pituitary, and pituitary regulates the functions of the all over the body, right? Now come to the next question, that is GnRH, that is the gonadotropin releasing hormone, right? GnRH, that is the gonadotropin releasing hormone, right? That is GnRH, which stimulates the posterior pituitary. In the above mentioned flow chart for the hormonal control of the spermatogenesis, which steps are incorrect? Actually, these hormones are related with the anterior pituitary, so if and they are not related with the posterior pituitary, right? So first one, that option, that second is wrong, right? Luteinizing hormone, okay. Then FSH stimulates the Sertoli cells helps in the nourishment, that is androgen secretions or Leydig cells function, right? So that is also wrong. Luteinizing Leydig cells, right? And nourishment of the sperm, no. So in that luteinizing hormone in males, it is also known as the ICSH, that is interstitial cell stimulating hormone, right? So nourishment of sperm is the responsibility of the Sertoli cells, that's why they are called the nurse cells, right? So second, 7 and 8, these steps are wrong in that hormonal control, right? So 2, 7, answer is 2, 7, 8, that is D, clear? And another one is cancelled. Now come to the next 20th. Identify the wrong statement about the thyroid gland, right? We have to choose only wrong statements about the thyroid gland. 2 lobes are situated on either side of the trachea, correct. It is butterfly shaped or the H-shaped gland actually, just like that, clear? And trachea is passes behind that, clear? So that statement is not wrong, that portion is called the isthmus. And posterior portion of the thyroid gland, parathyroid glands, are situated in these follicles, right? Now play an important role in regulation of basal metabolic rate, right? Supports the process of RBC formation, it helps in the erythropoiesis, right? It secretes a lipid hormone, thyrocalcitonin. Thyrocalcitonin is not lipid hormone, it's not lipid hormone, right? It is wrong. So the answer is wrong statement, only 4, answer is C, clear?